What's up, everyone? In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about the circle of fifths, which is sometimes known as the circle of fourths. The reason that it's called the circle of fifths is because we have a circular shape where each key signature is related by a fifth. And in each sharp key signature, as we move clockwise around the circle of fifths, we add a sharp. And when we move counterclockwise, we add a flat. My name is Mathew. I'm a composer and cellist and the founder of the Sound Painters Studio. I got my PhD in music composition at Northwestern University, and now I'm on a mission to help composers and musicians to bring their music to life with confidence and emotional depth. So let's get into the circle of fifths. The reason that it's called the circle of fifths is because the relationship between adjacent keys is by the interval of a fifth or a fourth, depending on if you're ascending or descending. If you ascend, it's by fifth. If you descend, it's by fourth. It doesn't really matter if you call it the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths because the end result is going to be the same. So the way that it works is that when you move clockwise, starting from 12 o'clock, you're going to add a sharp each way. If you were to move counterclockwise, then you would add a flat starting from 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock adds a flat, 10 o'clock, and so on, until you get to the maximum number of flats. So let's see how this looks on the board. I'm gonna draw it over here. So let's recreate the circular diagram of the circle of fifths so that we understand exactly what's happening between adjacent steps. So we start on 12 o'clock C major because there are no sharps and flats there. I'm going to abbreviate major with a capital M. Now, when we move clockwise around the circle of fifths, we're going to add a sharp. And so if we think a fifth above C major, we're gonna get to the note G, right? C, D, E, F, G. That's how we count intervals in music theory. So we get to G major. If you were to count in fourths, you would do C, B, A, G. So that would be the circle of fourths version if you descend. Now, because we add a sharp, the first sharp that gets added is F sharp. If we were to continue going up in this sequence, following this pattern, we would eventually fill out all of the rest of the key signatures. So I'm just gonna do that real quick and we will reconvene to talk about the relative minors after that. Once you get to 6 sharps, it switches because enharmonically you could read this in flat key signatures as well. So we could respell F sharp as G flat, and G flat would be our new tonic where we have 6 flats. If we were to continue going in this direction, we would have to subtract flats in order to get eventually back to C major. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move counterclockwise starting from C major so that we add flats and use sort of the same sequence but in the mirror direction. So the first flat that we add is B flat. And so in this case, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down a fifth from C. So C, B, A, G, F, it's F major. And that would be the key signature for F major, 1 flat. And then we continue the same pattern. If you have a hard time remembering the order of the sharps and flats, when I was in high school, my orchestra teacher taught all of us an acronym for remembering the order of sharps. And it works for sharps and flats. And that's what I like about it. So the acronym is Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And if you read it in reverse, battle ends and down goes Charles' father, that would be the order of the flats. So I think that that one is super, super effective. If you were to find the relative minor for all of these, all you would need to do is use the exact same key signature and go down a minor third from all of these keys or up a major sixth. If we model that in C, if we go down a third from C, it's gonna be the note A. So the relative is A minor. And for minor, I tend to use this slash over the lowercase m just to ensure that anyone that's reading my handwriting knows that I'm saying minor lowercase. If we do the same thing for G, it would be E minor. For D, it would be B minor. For A, it would be F sharp minor, and so on. So I'll leave you to figure out the rest of these. I will put a link below for class notes in case you want to double check your work. So now let's talk real quick about some tips for being able to identify the key signatures depending on what you have in front of you. So if you see a key signature with 4 flats, the fastest way that you can figure it out is the last flat is scale degree 4 of the key signature. So let's take the example B flat major. If we look at the last flat is E flat. So in B flat major, E flat is the 4th scale degree. B flat, C, D, E flat. So in other words, it's Fa, if we use the solfege, of the key signature B flat. Another way to think about it is the second to last flat, when you have 2 or more flats, is the tonic. So in B flat major, the second to last flat, which also happens to be the 1st flat, is B flat, and that's tonic. If we look at another key, we can take A flat major, for example. A flat major, the last flat is D flat. D flat is scale degree 4 or Fa in A flat major, and the second to last flat is A flat or the tonic 1. For sharp keys, the last sharp is going to be scale degree 7 or T if we think in solfege. So if we take G major, for example, in G major, the only sharp that we have is F sharp. So all you have to do is go a step up from the last sharp, and that's going to be the tonic of the key. So if you see 6 sharps, for example, don't get scared. All you have to do is look for the last sharp. So in F sharp major, the last sharp is E sharp. You go up a step, F sharp, and you're there. That's how you find the key signature. It's the easiest way to do it. It's better than memorizing it if you just know this simple rule. So let's see the circle of fifths in action at the piano. I always think it's really important to connect theory to how we hear music. So let's start at 12 o'clock or C major, which is all the white keys or all naturals. So the way that it would work is if you add a sharp to C major, we would add F sharp, that's our 1st sharp, and what happens is scale degree 4 in C major becomes our new leading tone T in the next key down, and that's going to get us into G major. If you continue that process, succeeding down each of the keys, it would be exactly the same. The 4th scale degree of the current key becomes the 7th scale degree of the next key. If you work backwards, the reverse would be true. So scale degree 7 becomes naturalized, and that becomes our new 4 or our new Fa. And then you just count down a 4th, and then you would be in your new key. So if we think about D major, scale degree 7 is C sharp. If we naturalize C sharp to C natural, that becomes our new Fa. We go down a 4th, new key is G. So we only have 1 sharp, we're in G major. I hope this video was helpful in learning the circle of fifths. In the next lesson, we're gonna be talking more about melody and how composers use consonants, dissonance, and tendency pairs to be able to form compelling melodies. See you in the next lesson.